Hello, I'm Simon Kerins, and I hope that you are making the best of things during the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. Those of you who know me well will be aware that two of my great loves are sport and music. With this in mind, I'm delighted to be presenting a 4-part series that shares the background information on some of the most famous and indeed best loved sporting theme tunes. In this edition, the first in the series, I'm taking a look at Match of the Day and Grandstand. Let's begin with Match of the Day, one of the most iconic TV signature tunes and certainly one of my personal favourites. Like almost all the themes I'll be looking at in this series, it is timeless. It transports me back to my childhood and my youth while retaining its relevance today. In particular, I recall the live FA Cup matches, televised in the mid to late 1980s and early 1990s. I also recall the tune's reassuring familiarity when I first went away to university back in 1993. The current theme tune for Match of the Day is, appropriately, called Match of the Day, and was written for the programme in 1970 by Barry Stoller. Ironically, Stoller himself was later to admit that he is not actually a football fan. In any case, this theme followed on from the original Drum Majorette, written by Major Oline Wrigley, who was also known as Arnold Steck, even though neither of those names is the real name. There'll be more on this person, whoever he is, and his real name later in the series. For now, let's return to the current and most famous version. Back in 1970, Stoller's remit was a simple one: write something good. And he certainly didn't disappoint, did he? As is often the case with classic compositions, the short closing fanfare was actually the first part of the tune that occurred to him. Writing in 2014, he commented on the gladiator feel provided by the closing fanfare harmonies. They were, he said, akin to entering the ancient games arena in Rome with all its expectations. The tune was recorded by Stoller at his home and also featured a trumpeter and a drummer. In May 2010, almost exactly 10 years ago, PRS for Music declared this Match of the Day theme tune to be the most recognisable in the UK. Next up in this edition is the third and final theme tune for Grandstand, arguably my favourite of all sporting themes. Those of you who listen to Sports Call, the programme that I presented on internet radio some 10 years ago, will recall that I chose it as the original theme for that show. As with the Match of the Day theme, this transports me back to the 1980s and 90s. I recall the anticipation at the start of each show and a play-out that always featured images of that afternoon's highlights. This theme, composed especially for Grandstand by Keith Mansfield, was first heard at the end of the 1000th edition of the programme. That was on the 11th of October 1975, when yours truly was just 5 months old. It replaced the second theme, which was composed by that man again, Barry Stoller, the composer of the most famous Match of the Day theme. His version, in turn, superseded News Scoop, which was composed by Len Stevens. This was the original and was used until November 1971. I really hope that you have enjoyed this feature. If so, please join me again soon, when I'll be taking a look at the story of 2 more famous sporting theme tunes. In the meantime, keep safe and take care.